Have you ever come across a situations where you finish your long run and a good pace run and realize you did not manage to record the result on Strava? It is the place where your jog, trail runs, cycling become a public flex. It's where you stalk your friend training pace. It is the undisputed social network for sweat. But lately, Strava has been warming up for a different kind of race, an IPO. Today, we are deep diving into Strava, a place where endurance athlete claims if it is not on Strava, it did not happen. How do Harvard rower build a fitness empire? What is the business model behind? How they fend off giants like Apple and Garmin? And finally, what we know about their upcoming multi-billion-dollar public listing? Let's get into it. Strava was not started by tech bro trying to disrupt the calories counting industry. It was started by two guys missing their team, Michael Harvard and Mark Gainey, who were crew teammates at Harvard in the late 80s. I believe if you know anything about rowing, you know it is intense camaraderie built through shared suffering and joy. After Harvard, life happened. They moved apart, started career where Gainey moved into investing, and Horvath continued with PhD in economics at Northwestern University and a teaching career as an assistant professor. I realized they missed that accountability and competitive push, the feeling of the locker room banter that made them train harder. All this actually led them to come out an idea like a virtual locker room which leverage on the internet for athletes to build an online community where they could connect, compete, and share their achievement. However, due to the infrastructure and technology at that time was not fully ready for this, and it was just mid 90s, and I was not yet born. And looking back, I was amazed with how far-sighted they were. In the interim, they co-founded Kana Communications, a customer email management software company, and went IPO in just 4 years in 1999, riding the wave of dot-com bubbles. After that, both Harvard and Gaini left Kana in the early 2000s. In the mid 2000s, GPS technology was finally getting small enough to fit comfortably on a bike handlebar or in a pocket. Smartphones were beginning to spread. Athletes were using social media to share and form community like on Facebook. Harvard and Gainey saw an opportunity to recreate that virtual locker room. In 2006, another founder fell into place, Davis Kitcher, who was software developer and endurance athlete and had been interested in using his own GPS data to discover training insight. With the consensus, they three started developing the idea. And fast forward to 2009, they launched Strava, which is Swedish for strive. Initially, just targeting obsessive cyclists. It was not just about the tracking data, it was about comparing that data with your friend. So, what actually is Strava? At its core, it's a GPS tracking utility. No matter you run, ride, swim, hike, and more than 50 other sports, it records your route, pace, elevations, and heart rate, basically your exercise regime. But that is boring, right? A dozen of other apps can do that. What Strava genius point is, they are turning the fitness into a massively multiplayer online game. They introduce segments. These are specific stretch of road or trail where everyone who run or ride them is ranked on the leadership board. If you get the faster time, you get the KOM, the king of the mountain, or queen of the mountain, QOM. And people go absolutely nuts for these digital crowds. They will plan their entire week around stealing a KOM from their neighbor. Then you add the social layer, the kudos, the comment, the activity photos. Kudos is like the version of like on other social media. It creates a positive feedback loop. You work out to get the data, you post it to get the kudos, which motivate you to work out again. It is addictive, and this supplements the apps to be a social apps where athletes can connect and compete with other athletes. User can record activity using GPS device like a Garmin and Apple Watch too. This further increase the usage of users from those devices. Furthermore, Strava provide route planning feature with their large 8 billion log activity database of road and trail route, allowing user to run, ride, or walk to do the route planning with the popular route. Knowing more info like distance, elevations, and surface type. And now, they even let snowboarder or skier track their downhill runs in real time. And lastly, Strava become the apps to personalize training for athletes with machine learning technology to summarize based on their training history and provide a goal recommendations. In 2025, they further strengthened their performance coaching ecosystem by acquiring Breakaway and Rana, two coaching apps focused on cycling and running respectively. All of this not only make you addicted to the sport you are in with Strava, but also improve systematically. Okay, it is addictive, but how Strava actually make money? For a long time, Strava struggled with this. They were terrified of alienating their user base by charging too much. But a few years ago, they pivoted to a clear premium subscriptions model. The free versions get you the basics, the tracking, and the social feed. But to unlock the real power, advanced analytic, deep dive, performance metric, route planning tools, and live location tracking for safety, you need Strava Premium, formerly called as Summit. They realize their core users are not casually jogger. They are data-obsessed enthusiasts willing to pay $6.67 a month or $80 a year to shave 10 seconds off their 5 kilometer time, or even paying $140 for 4 users to purchase the family plan. Other than the subscriptions, they also have a B2B arm called Strava Metro, which aggregate the identified user data to help city planner understand commuting patterns. As of January 2026, Strava Metro had partnered with over 3.7K organizations worldwide to create a more sustainable and urban mobility cities. The last segment of Strava income is Strava Challenge. It is an income from company to promote their brand by sponsors challenge to gain organic interactions. For example, on the earliest challenge back to 2017, Lululemon came out a 40-80 challenge where athletes had 2 weeks to run either 40 km or 80 km to unlock a free Lululemon running top, but have to pick up from store. While valuable, the core engine of their business today is still the user subscriptions. So, the ideal customer profile for Strava can vary across range from amateur fitness enthusiasts who are tech savvy and avid runner, cyclists, and outdoor activities to even a professional athlete such as Eliud Kipchoge, who is the god of marathon. However, the digital fitness market is incredible crowded with a 8.5 billion market size and expected to grow to 28.7 billion by 2029 at a 27.5% CAGR. In this market, you have hardware giants like Apple, Garmin, Google, and a ton of other hardware holding your wrist hostage. Other than this, you have shoe brands like Nike came out Nike Run Club app in 2012 and Asics who own Runkeeper and other running apps, pushing their own apps to compete in this market. So, how does Strava survive under all the sport market giant and when Apple gives you Apple Fitness Plus baked right into your iPhone and Google into Android? Strava biggest strength is its neutrality. I call it the Switzerland strategy. Strava is a platform agnostic. It doesn't matter if you record your ride on $500 Garmin watch, your run on an Apple Watch, or your indoor ride on a Peloton machine. All that data have to flow into Strava if you are the Strava user. All of this making Strava has become the central hub, the system of record for your athletic life, regardless of what hardware you use today or switch to tomorrow. Other than that, they have a very good social feature as I mentioned. This helped them create a strong community on the platform and network effect. That is an incredible sticky competitive mode. Well, with all these structures, which bring us to the main event, the IPO. Strava has been rumored to be going public for years, but the smoke has started turning into fire recently. They actually filed for IPO. They have made strategy hire, bringing in executives from places like Goldman Sachs and Sephora to beef up their finance and marketing team in preparations for public scrutiny. So, what they are actually their worth? In late 2020, during the peak of the pandemic home fitness boom, Strava raised a Series F with 110 million, led by TCV and Sequoia Capital, round that valued the company at 1.5 billion. However, the sport tech market has cooled significantly since 2020. Investors are no longer just looking at user growth, they demand profitability. Strava has historically been quiet about whether they are actually profitable. An IPO will force them to open those books. Depending on market conditions, when they finally pull the trigger, analysts suggest they could be aiming for valuations anywhere between 2.2 billion to perhaps 3 billion, assuming their subscriptions revenue has kept pace with their user growth. With that, Strava has potentially to debut in 2026. With the rise of the fitness activities and wellness, especially after the pandemic, the user growth rate of Strava is decent, and the device compatibility, as in the GPS watch, fitness tracker, are getting popular. All this create a good opportunity for Strava to continue to grow. In the future, I also foresee the large amount of useful data can be leveraged by Strava to come up targeted promotions or ads for the user. Imagine this. They know your favorite sport and how much mileage you had run, your location exactly, and all hence targeted sales advertisement could show to you. But this could come with the risk that user experience will be bad and the data and privacy concern. Although Strava always emphasizes the privacy of user, hiding profile and activity, and will only share the de-identified data to companies on respective business, government. However, some of the athletes experience privacy breach by individuals who found their locations from the apps. And also over hiding of data is one of the blocker for monetizations, as if you need to use that for the advertisement. Lastly, the reliance on third-party devices like Garmin is Strava's single most important hardware partner, with nearly 70% of all Strava activities are sourced from Garmin. This poses a risk of Garmin has high bargaining power against Strava and rely too much on one single source. As someone who like to run and hike too, I'm happy with how far Strava has made. Strava managed to do something difficult. They build a social network that people actually like using it. It's generally positive aspirations and keep people healthy. And all of this is good for society in general. But whether that translates into successful public stock remain to be seen. This would not be in my personal stock pick, but one thing is for sure. The race to the stock market is one segment. Strava desperately want to get the king of the mountain on. I want to know your thoughts. Are you Strava addict paying for premium? And would you buy their stock when it lists? Let me know in the comment down below. And the Strava co-founder Gainey has one share. Strava should be enjoyable even when used alone, emphasizing user choice in participations. If you enjoy the business content like this, smash the kudos button the like button, and subscribe for more. And thanks for watching. Let me end with a quote I like from the GOAT, Kipchoge. Only the disciplined one are free in life. If you are undisciplined, you are a slave to your mood and your passions. Let me see you guys in the next video, and thanks again for watching until the end.